So like I said, our presentation here today is how our office can help you keep yourself healthy, wealthy, and wise. And this is pertaining to your finances. So we're going to cover 3 different areas in our presentation and how our office can help you. So let's start with health. When looking at your personal health, one of the best ways to manage and maintain your health is to monitor your health, as well as to get your routine checkups with your doctor. So likewise, when you're looking at your finances, what we want to connect you with is that the services our office provides is to help you regulate. Our office, we regulate the financial professionals. So if you're working in investments, you want to check up on your finances, to check up to see if the person you're working with is in good standing. And by that way, we are your state regulator for securities fraud. We are the only state office that enforces Hawaii securities laws in the state of Hawaii and across all islands. We also help investors statewide. Securities and investment frauds happen on every island and to all kinds of people. And our office is here to help you before and after a fraud has occurred. So number one, what you should always do is always check if the financial professional is registered with our office first before you invest. So call our office to check your investment professional properly registered. Our phone number is there on the screen. Or when you call, make sure to have the firm's name, the individual's first name and last name, plus their middle initial if available. Always check. Other resources you can look into is you can go online. Some of our national partners at the SEC and the FINRA. You can go to their website, www.investor.gov or brokercheck.org, and on their websites is an area for you to check your investment professional. So we're looking at the second level of our presentation today is about wealth and how to protect your wealth and how to protect the monies that you've earned and the monies that you put away over the years. And our office is here to help you in that regard. Our office protects. If you file a complaint with our office, we have local investigators and attorneys on staff who can investigate and prosecute investment fraud. And this is a free service we provide for the public, no charge. And you just have to call us at the number provided on the screen. And there are times that we can try to get the money back, but a lot of the message we want to give to the public is prevention, is to get you to be more proactive, to spot the crimes before they happen, because sometimes we cannot get your money back. Okay. Also, we want to show that financial fraud is a big problem. So the FBI Honolulu office ranks the top basic Ponzi scheme as the top investment fraud schemes plaguing Hawaii investors and taking millions. So this is a big problem, and especially when you're looking at investments that this is thousands and thousands of dollars of people's life savings that they put aside. Especially as you as a working adult, you're putting money aside for your retirement. You're planning ahead for your retirement, and one bad decision and your money could be all gone. So we work with a lot of partners to show just exactly how important this issue is we work with our enforcement partners. We continue to build and maintain our partnerships with state and federal law enforcement agencies like the FBI, the IRS, Internal Revenue Services, the Homeland Security, the State Attorney General's office, county prosecutors' offices, and the police departments statewide. So this is not something to take lightly, especially when you're looking at investment fraud. It's a very serious matter, especially when you're thinking about somebody's life savings or like the millions of dollars that go if you're not attentive. So other additional partners we work with our national partners of the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, as well as CFTC, the Secret Service, etc. We have, all our local guys, the Honolulu Police Department as well, the Attorney General's office. We work alongside them as well. We do presentations with them, and a local prosecutor's office to help bring people to justice. And this is how our office can help you keep your wealth and keep the monies that you've saved and that you've earned over the years. And the last section is about being wise about your choices, being wise about how you spend your money, being wise about who you connect with, the people around you, and just gaining control of that information and powering through. So our office also educates in this section. We provide free, practical, and current information on wise investing practices, investor and financial education. So we provide presentations such as this as a way to empower our working communities, empower our local public to know what's going on, to spot out the different scams, to just be more vigilant in what they do on the daily basis. And that way, you protect yourself as well as your family members. You share this information with them as well. So we give you tips to protect yourself from fraud, and we do events like this as well. So today, as part of our why section, what I'd like to present about is affinity fraud, some things to look out for, Ponzi schemes, and some extra tips on how to protect yourself. So what is affinity fraud? So affinity fraud is a group-based fraud. This is when a con artist infiltrates a group that you have an affinity with. So the kind of catchphrase that we have here is, trust me, I'm your friend, and I got a special investment only for you. So it's going to kind of prey on the similarities that you have, on the similar interests that you have in this particular. So we're looking at, as I said, what is an affinity fraud? It's an investment scam that preys on members of identifiable groups. So when you think about these groups, they're like the religious groups, senior groups, ethnic groups, certain clubs that you work with. Also, if you can think about people in your where you work at, it's those types of groups that you have an affinity with, that you share certain social relations with. And the scam relies on the trust and the friendship that are built in these groups, and they kind of prey on that connection that you have with people. And a lot of what we see too is the leaders of such groups. If a con artist can sort of get a leader of a certain group to tie into their investment and have that person be like, oh, because so and so is investing, or so and so is working with this person. That kind of gives it more strength, and the con artist gets more people to scam. So it's kind of something that you have to look out for, especially in the Hawaiian community, especially in Polynesian community. We're all based on family values and that whole group we mentality. But if it's dealing with your money, it's safer to just say no, or to kind of think about it first. So the approach of affinity fraud is, it's human nature to trust people who are like you. As I said, con artists are increasingly targeting affinity groups to gain trust, and then they steal your savings from members. So just be wary of who you're working with, who the financial professional you're working with, that you trust them, and make sure that they're either in good standing. Check with our office, like I mentioned before, if there's anything to look out for. So the con artist uses their relationship to get their friends to buy into fake investments, and oftentimes these are Ponzi schemes. So some targets of affinity fraud, like I mentioned, there are elderly, senior groups, military, church members, union members, ethnic groups, professional groups, and athletic groups. So it's basically any social group that you are related to or that you have an affinity for can be a hub for affinity fraud. So you just got to be vigilant to see who's there and why a person is trying to sell you securities or um, trying to advise you certain ways. And highlighted here, we've highlighted union members and professional groups just because this week we're highlighting our working adults for Investor Wise Week, and we're looking at like government workers and union members. That's us. Professional groups, that's our niche. And even though a person could be in a professional group in a professional field, if they are turned in by the speak of another person on certain investment groups, then things can happen. The result of affinity fraud is in many cases the recruiting member of even the leader of the group becomes a victim of what turns out to be a Ponzi scheme or some other fraud. So always remember, investigate before you invest, no matter who is selling the product. So it doesn't matter if Uncle and Auntie from the church group says that they know somebody who can do things for you. Just because they're uncle and auntie, just because they're a leader in your community, just because they're somebody of certain stature, you should always remember to check. Always remember to check, and before you give your money. So don't be a victim of someone's greed. Protect yourself from affinity fraud. So like this little chart we have here, this group of people in the blue, all you need is that one seed and latch on everybody else. So even though we have that friendly demeanor, the Aloha Spirit, we had to be wary of who we bring into our circle. Not necessarily who we bring into our circle, but who we trust with our money. And we're looking into Ponzi schemes. So what is a Ponzi scheme? So a Ponzi scheme is named after the 1920 swindler Charles Ponzi, and this is a ploy or fraudulent investment operation where earlier investors are paid with funds given by subsequent investors. So this is an example. So understanding what a Ponzi scheme is, say somebody so-and-so comes and they're looking for a new investor, they take the money from them, and they kind of give monies. Like investor A is paid more fake interest with investor B's money. So they're using the monies of somebody new to pay off the earlier investors, if that makes sense in the graphic right there. So investor B is paid a little bit of the interest to make it think that there's a real investment at play, but that in reality, the promoter or the con artist is taking all the funds for himself. So here's another one. You add investor C into the program. So the new guy is bringing in more monies into the pile, and the promoter is taking a bit of that money and giving it to investor A, investor B, just to show that there's like interest in growing inside the investment, but it's not really growing. He's just taking monies from a new investor. So as it says on the screen, investor A and B are paid fake interest paid with investor C's money. This is the new guy. Investor C is paid a little bit of fake interest with his own investment. So in the long run, these people think, oh, my money is, it's growing and we're getting some investments, but then in reality, the promoter is taking all your funds. And that's that's what we want to avoid. So victim ignorance, the best friend of financial criminals. So fraud succeeds because people hear and believe the promises of the promoter and don't investigate either the promoters or investments being sold to them. And we don't want to be a victim of ignorance. We want to be more proactive and to know where our money is going. So even though, like I said earlier, even though it's somebody that you look up to or even a friend, a family member, always be sure to investigate and to double check what they're trying to sell you. So the collapse of a Ponzi scheme, as the number of total investors grows and the supply of potential new investors dwindles, there's not enough money to pay off the promised returns and cover the investors who try to cash out. So there's kind of like a breakdown because as he grows, there's not more new investors in the pot, then there's no money, there's no fake money to give the rest of the investors because it's all gone. The person spent it. So the scheme starts to collapse with investors losing all or most of their investments. The burst of a Ponzi scheme. The Ponzi bubble bursts when con artists simply cannot keep up the required payments of fake interest. In many cases, the promoter or con artist has spent investment money on personal expenses, depleting funds and accelerating the bursting of the bubble. So, which comes down to it, the con artist just basically ran away with your money and the funds that you have. So what are ways for you to help protect yourself against Ponzi schemes, protect yourself against these types of investment frauds? Is number one, like we mentioned before, is you have to be wise. Check the registry, be healthy and to double check. Check up the registration of individuals selling investments by contacting our office, and our number is 586-2722. Understanding your investments, being wise about your investments, understanding what exactly it is. People don't like to read the fine print, but you should read the fine print basically and get a better understanding of what your investments are and where your money is going. Verify the details of the investments. Beware of vague or overly complicated explanations. Sometimes, they'll give you a paper or contract or something and say, don't look at the small stuff. They'll take care of it, But you want to make sure that you have all the details so you know what you're dealing with. Beware of vague or report investment fraud by contacting the Securities Enforcement Branch. So if there's anything that you see is not adding up right, if you're looking at your statements or, something just looks a bit sketchy, especially when you're working with a financial professional, definitely call our office. We're here to help protect your wealth, like I mentioned earlier, and contact our office at 587-2267. And this goes with your loved ones as well, if you're noticing something. So red flags to look for. One of the red flags is investment is exclusive for only a special group of people. So if somebody is trying to haggle you or trying to say, this is only for you, or we're only selling this for a short time, then that's kind of a red flag of that this might be a scam, or this might be a scam. So poorly written information on an investment product and business. You also want to keep an eye on that if it's not detailed enough, if there's not good information or something, like it looks like somebody just whipped this up really quick, then it could be a scam as well. Another red flag to look out for is vague or overly complicated explanations of how business runs and how money is made. So if you're trying to sit down with somebody and they're trying to explain your investments, but they're using like hard words, or they're overcomplicating it for you, so you're confused and you're not really sure what it is, that's another example of a scam and a red flag to look out for. And last here we have investments promoting no downside or risk. When you're looking at any type of investment, any type of offer, there's always risk. And when somebody is promoting and telling you that there's no risk involved, that is a really big red flag for you to look for. Yeah. So we have some examples here for our local cases that we've covered, and just something for you to see that we've had. So examples of Affinity Fraud and Ponzi scheme, we have Bruce Harada, and I believe he was registered But that goes to show, even though if you call and you find somebody's properly registered, you know, you have to still be vigilant to look into how payments are being offered or how things are being done, because I believe he accepted checks that were written into his name from his clients, and that is a total red flag. So this case, he defrauded about $2.2 million from a little over 20 investors, and his affinity group, the group that he targeted, were active and retired city employees. And he worked for the independent financial advisor with AIM North America Corporation. And our office worked together with the Secret Service and the city prosecutor to bring it to justice. And the results of this case is he's currently in the Saguaro Correction Center in Arizona, and he'll be released in 2032. So another case is Lloyd Kimura. I believe this case was based in Maui, and he was a CPA. Yeah, he was providing CPA services for his clients. He defrauded about $8 million from investors of about little over 50 people, and he promised 8 to 12% return on their investments, and I believe that's high. The target groups, that he went after our clients he provided CPA services for. We worked with the FBI and Attorney General's office to bring to justice, and he was recently released in March, so just last month, and I believe he was put in for he served about 11 years. Yes. So like we said today, our presentation is how our office can help you to be healthy, wealthy, and wise, especially with your finances. So remember how we can help you. So prevent being a victim of securities fraud. Call our office, the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs, a securities branch. Remember, we regulate, we help keep your finances healthy, by checking up on your broker and advisor registration. We protect, we help keep you wealthy, report securities fraud for a violation, and we educate, we help keep you wise so you can make better informed decisions, especially dealing with your finances. So we give presentations like this today, and we have a ton of resources from our local office, as well as our partners nationally, from just a ton of information that could help empower you to make wise decisions for you and your family, especially when looking at your retirement funds and monies. And we'll go back a little bit. I do want to share some of our resources that we have on our website. For those of you here today, if you look at your chat as well, I have our website there, www.investing.hawaii.gov. So let me see. So if you look at our Q&A section, we have our website at www.investing.hawaii.gov. We also have a ton of information there, our resources there for you. I'll just show you really quick. Sorry, it's not working. So if you go to our website, and also we have tons of handouts available for you. We have our Investor Wise packet for working adults. We have our Fun Financial packet for Keiki, as well as our Kapuna Fraud Prevention packets available just for you and your family, just to help keep you informed about things. Okay. I just want to show you our website really quick. So let's see if I can get this up one more time. Okay. So I think I have it here. Okay, so this is our website. Let me go to our main page first. So this is our website, www.investing.gov, and we have tons of great information here. You know, we have this is our office, securities compliance, securities enforcement. This is the section I'd like to show you, our investor education program. We have tons of resources and materials here for the public, for you and your family. Yep, right here. And just in here, you can go in here. We have the who we are, talking about the services we provide, our presentations, our Bill of Rights. You know, you want to make sure that you understand and know the rights you have as an investor, so people don't try to scam you. We have our common threats to Hawaii investors, a check before you invest, ask questions, Affinity Fraud, like we talked about today. We have more information on that and things that you can share with people in your group, so they know what to look out for. We have information on Ponzi schemes, like we spoke about today, how to spot a con artist, financial designations. You know, if somebody is showing you their card and saying, oh, you know, I'm such and such, and have like all of these laundry list of designations they have. You know, there are specific designations that are given, and yeah, we have them listed here in this handout. Also, we have, you know, a little bit of information for the whole family, like for the keiki, for the kids, for the seniors, for the working adults. So we have a little something for everybody. And this is our main handout, our fraud prevention and resource guide. We worked with S&P, the Attorney General's office, as well as the Senior Medicare Patrol, sorry, S&P. And this is a really great resource that you can look up to see what other types of scams, not necessarily just investment scams, but what else is out there and how to protect yourself and who to call if something were to happen. This is a great handout. And also, because we are in our 2021 Financial Literacy Investor Education for All, I do want to share that it's currently April 16th, and we're in the middle of the month. We still have 2 more weeks of events and information that we'd like to share with the community. So please do check out the link that I have in the questions and answers for you. We have tons of activities for the keiki, working adults, and next week we're going to highlight our fraud prevention for our kupuno, and you know, try to protect the monies that they have. This is a bit of our calendar activities. Also, follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. We're everywhere that you can find us. So all our information is there. All right, at this time, we want to thank you for taking the time out of your afternoon to have a little talk about investment fraud and how it affects you, and how our office can help you, you know, protect your money and protect your wealth, and you know, keep your finances healthy, and you know, help build your wisdom, and just to empower you folks to protect your finances and protect the savings and investments that you put aside already. So I want to thank you all, and if there's any questions, you can enter that in the Q&A. And I see that we do not have any questions. And I just want to give you another big mahalo for joining us, and that you have a great week. And please do continue to follow our social media links and follow our information. We have a ton of great information for you folks. And don't feel free to contact me. My email is on the screen. and call our office at 808-586-2737. That's my direct line, and we have a ton of great information for you folks. And wishing you a happy Aloha Friday and a great weekend. And mahalo.